guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. This is a guy who's been married for 23 years, and he found out about 3 years ago that his wife was cheating on him. Turns out that he was going through a tough time in his life. I think that somebody passed away, his mom. He was depressed, and so, yeah, real nice, and she decides to cheat on him. Anyhow, he finds out that his wife, the guy that was nailing his wife, guess what? To no surprise, it wasn't just his wife. This guy has been spreading his seed around the community. It was nailing some other married guy's wife. And this guy's wife told him this, and so he wants to know, should I go let that husband know? Because a husband has the right to know that his wife was doing that to him, and they have 3 kids, and he's worried that if he tells him, it could just ruin his whole life, disrupt the whole family, the kids and all that, and by the way, questioning if those kids are his. And I want to know what I thought about that. And I'll be going to go over here, guys, once again, talk about the code. Us guys, we got to have a bro code here, even though a lot of guys don't follow the bro code. What is the bro code? Well, bros before hoes. And if you know darn well that some guys that you're friends with or acquainted with, or even don't know, his wife is cheating on him, and you can help him, you should do that. Because wouldn't you want to know? I mean, you may part of you thinking, I don't want to know, but no, you need to know, right? And also the code is this, that you don't knowingly sleep with or have affairs with women that are taken. Either they're married or have a boyfriend, something like that. Now, in fairness, a lot of times these married women or gals that claim to be single aren't single. And they cheat, and the guy they're having an affair with has no idea. And that ain't cool. But still, you shouldn't do that knowingly. And the third thing is, I'm going to cover again about the whole, you can't stay married and be with someone who's a cheater, because once a cheater, always a cheater, and they'll do it again, but I'll come back to the end, because that's going to pertain to this situation. So he says, hello SSM. Long story short, 3 years ago, I found out my wife cheated on me. I was in a bad place in my life, not leading the relationship, and fighting depression due to the death of my mother. Your mom dies, and naturally you're going to depression, and you're not exactly so strong in that moment, and then she cheats on you. Real nice, huh? Yeah, I know what you're going to say, but married 23 years together for 30, been married 23 years and together for 30, we've worked through it. Yes, it'll never be what it once was, but I don't want to restart my life at this point. Well, I'll come back to that point, at that part at the end, my friend. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's terrible, but I'll come back to that part at the end. Anyway, that's not the focus of this email. My question is this. When finding out about my wife with the guy that she cheated on with, I found that he was sleeping with another married woman per my wife. Imagine that. This scumbag isn't just hooking up with your wife. Of course not. That's Chad and Tyrone. They're getting everybody in the fucking town. This other couple I do not know personally, nor does my wife. I've always been a bros before hoes mindset type of guy. So I struggle with knowing the guy was effing this other guy's wife. I stopped at the house to tell him one time, and she came to the door. I just smiled and walked away. That was 3 years ago. But I lay awake at night at times wondering if I was this guy, would I want to know. They have 3 younger daughters, and I hate to tear up a family, but if I was him, I'd hate to feel like I was a sucker. How or should I tell him? I like to give him some sort of choice in the matter. It's not really a revenge thing, because I couldn't give a shit about the other guy, but these 2 guys are acquaintances. So he's saying by doing a little investigating that the guy banging this other guy's wife, they're actually acquaintances. Well, that's irrelevant at this point. So what I think you should do, I think you should let that guy know. Now, keep in mind that, the old saying, don't shoot the messenger. You coming and telling this guy out of nowhere that his wife, at least in that period of time, was cheating on him with the same guy who was banging your wife, may not go over too well. But I think you said you'd want to know, or I believe that's what you said, you'd want to know. And I think all guys out there, they wouldn't want to hear the news, but they would want to know. So yes, I absolutely think you should tell him. But I can see let's just say that she was cheating on him 3 years ago and she stopped, and you tell him and he confronts her. First of all, she's going to deny it, very likely. And even if she admitted it, she'd probably cry and try to say it was 3 years ago, we were going through that bad time, and blah, blah, blah. But regardless, I think you should tell him, and find a good way to do that. But be very careful. I would probably maybe do that in public. but don't make sure like you're not like you're stalking him. That way, if he lashes out, there's people around, witnesses, because a lot of guys aren't going to take that too well. He's going to be thinking he's being, it's some reality show and he's being not punked, but you get the point. If somebody's in the bushes with a camera watching his reaction, and I'd be as empathetic as possible. But this guy deserves to know it. All guys need to know this type of thing. Second thing, back to the bros before hoes things, guys. We got to have a code. I said that in the beginning. There are a lot of guys out there that think, hey, this guy's a simp. This guy's a bitch. Therefore, he deserves to be cheated on. No, not cool. You're only making the world worse. And you may say, SSM, I'm not in the business of making the world a better place. Fuck the world. Well, regardless, have a code for the bros here. Because that could be you one day, And it's true. I've done a lot of stories, and you guys have probably heard a lot of them, where these guys find out that they're hooking up with a woman who they thought was single. Turns out she was married, or had a boyfriend, or engaged. And aside from feeling awful about that, they themselves were hurt. So you should not knowingly do that. It ain't cool. And the last thing I want to address on is, I know you wrote this on the basis of that question in regards to this, letting that guy know, and you said pretty much, the ship has sailed with your situation. You said you've been married 23 years, either 23 years now or 23 years at the time when you found she was cheating on you. But you said that she was cheating on you when your mom died, and naturally you're fighting depression and in a bad place. I mean, who does that when somebody's going through a hard time? Now, some women will justify it saying, he wouldn't come out of his room and he was doing this, and this, and I didn't know what to do. Bullshit. You want to be with someone and should be with someone that when you're going through a hard time, when a loved one has passed away, or any other thing you're severely grieving on, has your side, has your back, can help you, not is going to go cheat on you the second things aren't being smooth sailing and perfect. So that says to me a lot about her character, aside from the obvious cheating thing, And as you are here, I got to also say this. There's obviously a reason you watch my channel. And I'm assuming more than just a couple of videos. So this is something that interests you. And if you watch my channel, you know darn well when women pull this crap, sadly, they have a history of it. And if the guy doesn't handle it in the right way, usually meaning ending it with her, then that's going to communicate to her weakness, and she can get away with this crap again. And down the road, when the same circumstances that caused her cheating to, in the first place, happen again, she'll go off and do it again. And a lot of guys may be thinking, no, not my wife, or no, she's learned her lesson. How many stories have you heard? I don't want this to happen to you. And then there's the whole embarrassing, humiliating factor there. Do you want to be the guy who everybody else knows darn well his wife has been, with many guys in town, or girls, you never know nowadays. Who wants that? You deserve, and all guys, all people, men and women deserve to be with someone that if you're loyal to her and loving and supportive and have her back and all that, you deserve the same thing. And you obviously didn't get that. And I'm sure when she got caught, she was crying and doing everything I talk about, the Hoe Bag Handbook, the crying, the begging. It'll be different. I'll go to therapy. I'll give you my phone. I'll never do girls' night again. Every goddamn thing in the book, she promises you, and then shit happens down the road. And I know you said that at this stage in your life, because you said we've been married 23 years, so you're probably at the very least in your late 40s, if not maybe 50s. Yeah, who wants to go through a giant-ass divorce and all that entails? I've known a number of guys that have been divorced, and it ranges from being just extremely stressful with the uncertainty and all that to being an absolute miserable experience, not to mention a costly, miserable experience. And so it's understandable one doesn't want to have to go through that. But the problem is that I would really take a look at things and reevaluate everything, because you can't be with someone like that. And guess what, man? Men have started over on far, far worse circumstances. They've taken the hit because they've been married a long time, and it was uncertain for a long time, but they pulled through. And the common thing is they were always so happy in the end they went through all that to where their life is now. And both from the stories I've done and dudes I've known, they said they went through hell, but they're so happy. And this is on the basis they learned something from their mistakes. So I'm not telling you to go out and do that today, but I am asking at the very least you really think about that you really want to be with someone that did all that. And I don't want to hear that it was a mistake. No. A mistake is usually a one-time incident. And usually not that. When someone is cheating on someone repeatedly, it is a well planned out process. And so that anybody that does that, man or woman, is naturally a liar, devious, manipulative. I can go on and on. And as a good man, and I'm certain you are a good man, you don't deserve, they deserve better. Now, I don't know if you have kids, and that could obviously make things even much more complicated. I don't know. But even then, you got to take care of you. And, with kids, and it all depends on their ages, yeah, it hurts them when the parents split up. I've known many. Nowadays, it's hard not to know somebody that has been divorced or that growing up in a divorced, broken home and all that. But usually in a home where mom and dad, there's fighting and all this turmoil, those kids are exposed to that. It's a very bad experience. And one way or another, a lot of these kids end up in relationships similar to that growing up because they think that's normal. Now, there are exceptions. Some kids say, I'm never going to have that. And that's good, but you get the point. So I would really take a look at your life. I mean, you can't write this into me and expect me not to just react and to be like, okay, no problem, bro. I'm going to say something, and you know that. And everybody here knows I'm going to say something. And as our guys in the comment section. Maybe this is it. You inadvertently are hoping I say something without actually saying it. I don't know. But anyhow, that being said, I do think you need to reach out to this guy. He needs to know. He deserves to know, whether he wants to know or not, and publicly. And at that point, then you've done your work and let him know and all that, because you would want to know, but obviously you handle things differently. So that's what I think. And again, please reevaluate your situation and all that, as well as remember, guys, let's have a code here. We gotta, because the world is fucked up enough, and we can't be like the rest of them. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think. Let him know what you think about the thing about his main question here about letting that guy know, how you think the best way for him to let this guy know. And if you want, you can comment about, he said this wasn't about his personal life, but I don't think he wrote in here thinking I wouldn't say anything. So, say what you got to say. But don't be too hard on him because, he's obviously gone through a tough time. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.